Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. If you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from TA Friend Date Issue and says, am I wrong for going on a date night with my wife's friend? Oof, what a title. It starts. I went out for dinner with one of my wife's friends last week when my wife was out of town. I wanted some honest opinions on if I did something wrong here and how big of trouble I'm in. So, to give full context, my wife was away for a week visiting her parents. She has a friend, Amanda, who she has been friends with for many years. Amanda has had a rough patch where she broke up with her boyfriend and also lost her job. My wife has been supportive of her. Last week, Amanda had an interview and asked my wife if she could give her a ride home from the airport. As my wife was out of town and my office is near the airport, my wife asked me if I can give her a ride on my way back from work. I did not have any plans and agreed. Amanda and I are not really friends and I only interact with her when we meet socially. I told Amanda to message me when her flight gets to the airport and I can pick her up. I picked her up around 6 p.m. and we were driving home. We were just having small talk about the new company she was interviewing at and her work in general. Amanda told me she does not have any food at home and if we can stop by a drive-thru so she can pick up some food. I was also hungry and I suggested we can stop by somewhere and have a quick dinner before I drop her home. She agreed and started searching for places on the way. She punched in an address to a restaurant on the way and we drove to that place. We did not know this, but this place was a pretty fancy Italian restaurant. She said, "This looks too fancy." And I said, "We're already here, so let's eat." I messaged my wife we are eating dinner, and she said okay. We had a pretty fun evening and a nice dinner. She had a few drinks, and I did not since I was driving. We generally never talk much, but she opened up to me and we had a very nice chat. I never knew Amanda. I had so much in common and liked the same music and movies. I did not notice, but we're at the restaurant for 1.5 hours. Amanda was taking pictures during dinner and also asked the server to take our picture at the end of the meal. I dropped Amanda home. She gave me a quick hug and said thanks for such a nice evening. I called my wife, told her I dropped Amanda and I'm heading home. She seemed busy and I just let her know I reached home and said goodnight. This is where things got a bit weird. Amanda messaged me around 11 p.m. saying thanks for the ride and she had a good time. She sent me our picture together. I saw the message and just liked it to acknowledge it. Later that night, Amanda shared some of the photos from our dinner on her Instagram, including our photo together and captioned it as dinner with friend. I'm not friends with Amanda on Instagram and did not see it. Next morning, my wife called me and asked me how my date night with Amanda was. I laughed it off and thought she was teasing me, but my wife sounded pissed off and kept on asking me about all the details like when I got home, which I was happy to provide. That night, my wife called me again and told me that Amanda told her about the night before. The issue was Amanda made the dinner sound way nicer than it was. She kept on praising me for how I was a gentleman and treated me better than most of her dates, how I'm a good listener, paid for the whole thing, etc. I feel Amanda also added fuel to the fire by telling my wife all the wonderful things I did for her during the evening. My wife feels I should have asked her before inviting Amanda to such a fancy place for a romantic dinner. She was also pissed that hundreds of people liked Amanda's post on Instagram and she feels disrespected that her husband is going out on date night with a single friend when she was out of town. She also jokingly asked me how our goodnight kiss was. I told her it was just a hug. That seemed to make her angrier. I've not even told her about the late night message from Amanda and me liking the picture with a heart emoji, because I'm too scared at this point. I wanted to ask if I was wrong to invite Amanda for dinner when both of us were starving and it was dinner time. Do you think my wife is wrong and overreacting to all of this? I was just being nice to her friend, who she asked me to drive home. I also communicated with my wife all through the night and she seemed okay with it at the time. She only got offended after she saw Amanda's Insta post. Should I call Amanda and tell her to talk to my wife and explain it was just a friendly meal and I was not being inappropriate? Yuck, this is so messy, but there was a couple of relevant comments with replies from OP. So Significant Beyond says, you're the arsehole. Would you be okay if your wife went to a nice dinner out and had drinks with a single male friend of yours, not hers, hugged him, took pictures, all without asking you if it bothered you, not telling you what happened and you found out from social media? The fact is, casual observers interpret you going on a date with a woman that isn't your wife. Getting drive-through is one thing, this is another. OP says, I just went for dinner with her. I was expecting to go to a diner or something, but it was a nice meal anyways. Yes, I understand if my wife would have done all these things, it would have bothered me. However, I was messaging my wife through the night and she never once raised a flag that she was uncomfortable. I also talked to my wife after I dropped Amanda. I think her problem started the next morning after she saw the Instagram pics. Hick Rick says, feels like arsehole and not the arsehole all at the same time. Seems like there's a level of naivety around the escalating situation. The early portions of your story are definitely innocent and honestly what a lot of people would do for close friends of a SO. How could you not see this escalated into an awkward situation? Fancy romantic dinner setting, potentially intimate conversations, bit of PDA towards the end. At no point in the evening did it occur to you, this feels like a date. Probably owe your wife an apology regarding the misunderstanding. OP says, I will be honest here. I was slightly annoyed I had to pick Amanda at the airport because I had my whole evening planned out. I was going to go home, get drunk and play Sea of Thieves with my friends. I really did not notice we're in a restaurant for such a long time. The dinner was not romantic at all, but you know how pictures on Insta can look. In hindsight, I know why my wife is mad at me. I'm just scared at this point for the fallout. Help. So OP adds on what kind of restaurant it was and says it was not one of the unlimited breadsticks places. It was more like a fancy steakhouse, but Amanda picked it. My wife was completely fine with the dinner until she saw pictures on Instagram. And why he paid for the dinner. OP says, so I paid because I always offer to pay. I'm lucky to live a comfortable life and I hate splitting bills. I always offer to pay when I go with my friends too. And I kind of agree with the comments on this one. I was sort of back and forth with it, but it just seems to get worse as it goes on. The start of it, picking her up from the airport, maybe finding somewhere quick to eat, absolutely makes sense. I'm not sure I do believe Amanda in that she didn't know it was a pretty fancy place, but it just seemed to go downhill from that point on. The Instagram photos, the hugging. It's like that comment said, at what point did it not sort of jump into your mind that, hold on, this is a bit inappropriate? And this turned into not just a quick bite to eat, because you said yourself that you did not notice. You was losing track of time because you had so much in common and like the same music and movies. It just, yeah, dodgy. Red flags are waving. And again, when she calls a waiter over and gives her a camera and says, let's get a photo of us together, you're just like, yeah, why? Complete Design says, bro, why the hell would you want Amanda to talk to your wife and convince her it was an innocent, friendly meal? Amanda is the one asking for pictures, hugging you, late night messaging you, and posting on social media. You dense. Oh dear. Amanda is stirring the pot and not acting like a friend to your wife. Stop talking to Amanda. Fuck Amanda. Figuratively. You talk to your wife. Ugh, and side note, asking waiters for pictures is so cringy in my opinion. Leah Jada says, your wife's friend played you like a fiddle. Every choice you made was reasonable given the circumstances. However, Amanda is clearly stirring the pot, taking pictures, posting them online, and drinking heavily. Those texts afterwards. And you should never, ever text Amanda. I'll tell your wife that Amanda's text after dinner and her Instagram post made you uncomfortable and regretful for doing Amanda a favor, and you should block her. Dennis Kidder replies to that and says, and Amanda found the restaurant and sent them there. Guaranteed she could see how fancy and romantic it was when she was doing that Google search. Then had the server take a picture of them. Yeah, Amanda played OP hard. I want to believe OP is just a naive dunce. But the cynic in me is wondering if OP is backtracking because he got caught setting out a fishing line and is trying to make it look like it was all Amanda and he did nothing wrong. And one more comment from No Permit and said, wait. Did you say you liked the picture with a heart emoji? Lol. And that was clarified, that wasn't on Instagram, it was actually the text he liked with a heart emoji. Someone said at least it wasn't an eggplant. And OP replied saying, "That's the first emoji that popped up, and I know I'm an idiot." Lordy lordy. Anyway, OP came in with an update and said, "I made a post yesterday about going out for dinner with my wife's friend, and when my wife was out of town visiting her parents last week. She posted our photos on Instagram, and it would be an understatement to say that my wife was not happy about it. I've been getting the cold treatment from her since the incident. A lot of the comments made me believe that I did something really horrible. However, I knew in my heart that I did not have any wrong intentions and decided to just be honest with my wife. She came home yesterday evening and I went to pick her up at the airport. I went on my charm offensive and got some flowers and chocolates on my way." Jumping in here, please don't tell me he's going to repeat the date with his wife. "While my wife was happy to see me after 2 weeks, I could see that she was a bit annoyed by me. I asked her if she wanted to stop by for dinner at a restaurant and she gave me a look and told me to keep driving and we will order takeout. She also asked me to cut the bullshit and be normal. After we reached home, we settled in and I got the dinner ready. I decided to be direct and asked her why the incident is really bothering her. I told her that I know she is not an insecure person, and she also knows that I would never put myself in an inappropriate position. While I understood why she would be annoyed by the situation, I would not expect her to doubt me. She was the one who trusted me to pick up her friend in the evening from the airport. As it was dinner time and her friend said she was hungry, it would have been rude of me not to offer to get food for her. Also, my wife knows that I always offer to pay for dinners, irrespective if it's my friends or hers. It is just the way I was brought up, and we've had fights during family gatherings on who gets to pay. I asked her what was the thing that was exactly bothering her and why she was okay during the night when I kept updating her about everything, but got upset in the morning. My wife told me that the whole situation smelled funky to her. She told me that she does not doubt me one bit that I had any wrong intentions. However, the optics of it all was really bad for her. She said that she is not upset at me for getting dinner for her friend. She would expect me to do that, and Amanda also appreciates it. She said that the issue started early morning when her mum barged into her room to show her Amanda's post. Mum thought I was going out with Amanda behind my wife's back. My wife told her that she knew I took her out for dinner and told her about what happened. She then got a lecture from her mum about how naive she was, and this is how affairs start. My wife said that it annoyed her a lot. Her mum also looked up a restaurant and told my wife that it was a very pricey place and was voted best place for romantic dates by some magazine. She said her mum completely freaked out after seeing my picture with Amanda. So my wife looked up our credit card statement and realized I'd spent a lot on the meal. She also said that Amanda has a huge social media following on Instagram and posts a lot. I think she is like a fitness influencer or something, but I don't really follow her. Even though most of the pictures in her post were of food, the last photo of me and her looked like a boyfriend reveal as we were sitting next to each other. She told me I won't understand as I'm not on Instagram, but this is how people announce they are dating someone nowadays. As the day went on, Amanda got more than 1k likes on the post, while a lot of people commenting and saying we look nice. She was annoyed Amanda did not correct any of them, so she called Amanda in the evening to ask her to take the last picture down. However, Amanda kept on praising me and how I was charming and fun. Amanda told her for all these years she felt I was snobbish and pretentious. I'm a huge introvert, so I come off that way. But she was wrong. My wife said this was annoying because she has never seen me be charming with any of her friends before when she is around. Amanda was talking about all my favorite bands and how we should all go see a concert sometime. Amanda told her she posted our photo because she has never been treated to such a nice place before and wanted to acknowledge me in the post. My wife never asked her to take down the picture because of that. She then had a lot of questions for me as to when I dropped her off, why I walked her to the apartment building door, and when I got home. I told her I can show you exact times and receipts for everything, but do we really want to be that couple who questions each other about every detail? She can check when we got the credit card charge, the messages I sent her after dropping Amanda and our Ring camera in the garage, and come to her own conclusions. She asked me if she thought Amanda was flirting with me during the night, and I told her that was not the case. In fact, Amanda messaged me our photo at night, and I just sent an emoji instead of engaging in a conversation, mostly because I was busy with my video game. That chapter was closed for us, and neither Amanda nor I messaged each other after that. Amanda is my wife's friend, and I do not intend to be close friends with her anyways, as I have my own friends. I also insisted to her that Amanda was not inappropriate in any way during the night and maintained proper boundaries. So this incident should not affect their friendship with Amanda. In fact, if Amanda had any bad intentions, she knew my wife was out for the rest of the week and would have tried to message me again. But she forgot about the evening, and so should we. Overall, my wife seems to be back to normal after the conversation. My wife is not an insecure person. I could see why she would be annoyed by the situation. However, I know in my heart that I will never disrespect our marriage and had no reason to be sneaky or lie about the situation to her. I'm glad we talked it through and I was able to answer all her questions. Thanks again for all your suggestions. So there was a couple more comments before the post ended with OP replying. So Flynn asks OP, they said, how much was the dinner? OP said it was around $300 overall with tips and stuff. The food was pretty good though. Flynn says 300. How many courses did you get? OP says 5, I think. We skipped the dessert though because it was too much food. I remember the song because it was one of my favorite bands. It was Every Little Thing by Police. Flynn says 5, so an app, a pasta, a meat. What else? Did she keep ordering or did you? That's definitely a romantic song. No wonder her followers think you're her new boyfriend. Lol. And she's just letting them think that. When you go to that concert, get ready for her to maneuver some pics with just you. You know, the fans. What music went over the Insta post? And it must have been that Police song. There was some people suggesting below this that, Amanda may have been posting that photo on Instagram to get back at her ex, who would likely see her Instagram, and was just trying to rub it back in her ex's face, that she's at a fancy restaurant with a man who's treating her well, etc. And there was all sorts of comments, people saying that OP's just oblivious. One commenter said that he's like Sideshow Bob, continually stepping on rakes. Others saying he got used for the restaurant and a free date kind of thing. Others saying this is a normal interaction and, it's about the wife not trusting him and mother-in-law was stirring the pot in this situation. Someone compared it to OP being like the dog in the meme where this is fine and the dog's sitting in the room and it's on fire. Honestly, the comments were all over the place in this one. So what's your thoughts on it? Let me know your comments down below and let's have one more story. Holy moly indeed. Now, our next story is from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update as yet. It's from You Can Do It, Am I the Arsehole, and says, Am I the arsehole for not agreeing to my husband's new chore list after I switched my work hours without his approval? My husband, 38 male, and I, 37 female, have been married for 9 years and have 2 kids, 8 and 6. He works a hybrid schedule, so he's home 2 to 3 days a week. I'm a nurse at an understaffed hospital. Due to that staffing shortage, I was offered to temporarily switch my work hours to the overnight shift. It came with a nice bump in pay, which could really help us out financially. My husband was very much against it because of the changes it would make to our day-to-day lives. I initially declined the offer, but they countered with an even higher pay bump, so I took it. It's been 5 months since I changed hours, and my husband hates it. My hours are now 10 PM to 8 AM, Monday to Thursday, and midnight till 9 AM Sunday morning. I usually make it home just in time to see the kids off to school, run some errands or get things done at home in the morning, then sleep until the kids' bedtime and head to work. I like to think I've gotten pretty efficient at it since the change, but my husband disagrees. I won't lie, he's had to pick up a lot of the kid-related things that we used to share. Pretty much any rides they need are done by him. Any weekday activities he takes care of. Now that the kids are done with school, we have them in a summer daycare program and he does all the drop-offs and pickups. He's been complaining to me ever since the kids' school year ended that this isn't working for him anymore. He keeps asking when I can switch my hours back. I told him the original plan was 6 to 8 months, so it could be soon, but it's only been 5 months. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I want to switch back. I'm making and saving a lot more money. Once I've adjusted to the sleep schedule, I feel like I actually have more energy and can get more stuff done when I get home from work. This past weekend, my husband practically begged me to ask my supervisor when I can switch my hours back. I finally told him I'm not sure if I want to do that. He flipped out on me. He told me this isn't what he signed up for when we got married. He told me he feels lied to because not only did I accept the offer without his final approval, but now I'm going back on my word that it would be temporary. He said that if I'm going to keep my current night shift, then I need to do more things at home since I have a whole place to myself during the day. I asked him what more he thinks I should do, and he actually made a list. He put pretty much all the yard work on there, which is usually stuff he takes care of, and that I don't know how to do. I told him I don't know how to do all that stuff, and he told me, if I can learn how to fold a fitted sheet, you can learn how to mow the lawn. I told him that doesn't seem like a fair division of labor, and he told me he's taken on all the kids' stuff, so I need to do more of everything else. I told him that doing manual labor after I worked all night isn't going to work for me, and he told me to change my hours back then. Look, you're married, you have a family, these things need to be made jointly or as a family. With what you did, you totally turned everything upside down. It wasn't about his approval, it was about talking to him and coming to an agreement that works for your family. And using excuses like I don't know how to do it is bullshit. Like he said, if he can learn how to fold a fitted sheet, and those things are a right pain in the ass, and you can certainly learn to mow the lawn. And I feel like OP even made it sound themselves that they're not there most of the time, and when they are there, they're asleep. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've got more energy now. Of course you do. But Aggressive says, you're the arsehole. Lol. Of course you have more energy now. It sounds like all you do is sleep and work. Your husband has to take over every single other task. Learning how to mow the lawn isn't that hard, especially since Google is a thing. Suck it up like he has for the last 5 months and do the yard work. Don't forget to weed whack, edge, and clean up all the clippings. Top tips. Level 5 Ocelot quotes a section and says, do you hate your kids or just love the money? I mean, you could pay someone to do the manual labor with all that you're earning, but your kids know you're choosing a schedule that lets you avoid them. Why the fuck are you not sleeping first and actually being awake when your family is home in the evening? Jonsu replies to that one and quotes the section saying, I'm making and saving a lot more money, and then says, I'm a little worried about this. It's not we're saving a lot more money. Hopefully it's just wording, but if they have separate finances and hubby has to take on nearly the full household load so that OP can make herself more money. And a final comment from Bulbasaur Ranch, who says, you're the arsehole. You basically abandoned all your responsibilities and then claimed you're too dumb to learn how to do yard work. My neighbor has one arm and she mows her own lawn. I can give you a number if you need tips. How could you possibly say it doesn't sound like a fair division of labor? It sounds like you don't do anything at home to help with the kids. What do you mean division when it's only him doing it all? Taking a night shift seems to be a good thing for you at the expense of your family. You're a selfish spouse. You're the arsehole. Deary, deary me. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. You bloody cheeky so-and-so. Much love, guys.